How's everybody doing today? This is Corey Lee's Boxing, and we are back with another banger. So please smash that like button, you guys, and subscribe. And yeah, man, I want to talk Joyce, you guys, possibly the next heavyweight champion of the world. Let's go ahead and jump in and see, what's behind Joyce and what kind of fighter is Joyce. I want to say you guys definitely smash that like button and subscribe if you guys haven't already. But yeah, man, I started hearing about Joyce in the Olympics. Um, he was an Olympic silver medalist, and he did good for himself. He did good for himself. Some people say that he shouldn't even won the silver. But that, like I said, he won silver. A lot. I know there was a little bit of there was something behind that. The more I think about it, there was something behind that. But more importantly, the Olympics are a little bit rigged anyway. So and for the guy to get a silver medal, I thought he did very well for himself. Um, Joyce is a big human being. They said he got uh, super big bone like his skeleton and his bones were 10 times the thickness of a regular human being. So that's a lot too. And I just feel with the Olympics, he went to the Olympics and then he fought Alexander Usyk in the World Series of Boxing, and I think it's the World Boxing Series. No, it was one of them, but it wasn't the WBSS tournament where he won the Muhammad Ali Trophy. It was before that, and there was a little fight league that him and Usyk were in after he got out of the Olympics, and he lost to Usyk, one of his only defeats. And I was already a Usyk fan from the jump, so when I heard about that, I was like, Joyce maybe isn't that good. That's what was one of my first thoughts. Not because Usyk beat him, but how he beat him. It wasn't even really that close. Um, and I was just like, what could Joyce possibly do to redeem himself or to look better in the eyes of the masses? And what he did was he's been on a heavyweight run lately, and I just want to commend Joyce. I think he's been doing a hell of a job, and I think he's fixed a lot of his problems that he had in the first Alexander Usyk fight. The first Alexander Usyk fight was tough because Alexander Usyk was smaller than Joyce and more nimble and quicker at the punch. And he was just to be honest with you, he was just a better fighter. He was just a better fighter. Sometimes in life, you meet that guy that's just better than you in something. In boxing, I feel like Usyk is better than a lot of people in boxing because he has that really, really good footwork mixed with good technique, mixed with you know, a good like brain, like the way he thinks, the way he's, built. He's built with training and discipline. A lot of fighters in the heavyweight division don't have that, and just in boxing in general, a lot of people don't have that. It's hard. And it's like once you get there, can you keep it? You know, it's hard enough to get there, but you're the top, 5% to get to be a heavyweight champion or to be a champion just in general, just to be a world champion. So you're good enough to get there, but can you keep it though? Is the question. And so with the Usyk loss, I didn't take too much from that. Pop out, what's happening, man? What's going on? Um, but yeah, I didn't take too much from that, but I was just like, you know what? Right now, Usyk and Joyce fought at a younger age, and it was a little while back, and I just feel like, oh, hold up, hold the fuck, hold up. And we're back. Smash that like button, you guys. But yeah, Joe Joyce lost to Usyk, and I thought it was definitely a good decision. And like I said in the fighting league he was in, there's a couple other guys. Gvostic was in that league as well. Rashid Warren from Ohio, and yeah, man. So a couple good fighters were in that tournament. Were in that little type of tournament style league that they were in. Um, but yeah, man, Usyk beat him, and now Joe Joyce has really come back in the pro ranks to actually really look well for itself. And I want to start with the Daniel Dubois fight because that was one of the first fights that I felt like Joe Joyce. This is a 50-50 fight. That Daniel Dubois, and still to this day, it's a 50-50 fight. If they were to fight again, I think Dubois might get him. You know, I'm gonna just be honest. Unless he changes some of the things that he needs to change, like his head movement and all of that. I think Daniel Dubois, that eye fucked him up. If he don't have eye problems in that fight, I think he wins, man. I think he wins for sure. But he had eye problems, and Joe Joyce had to capitalize on that. And it was one of those type of fights where zillions. He got hit multiple, multiple, multiple times, you know, by Joe Joyce, you know. That when Daniel Dubois' I started to mess up, it was hard for him to get back. The eye kept bothering. And another thing I want to give comments to and props to is Joe Joyce for messing that eye up and staying on that eye. When Joe Joyce smelled blood in the water with that eye messed up of Daniel Dubois, he capitalized on it. And he kept hitting it over and over and over and over. And so by the time you got to round, I'm not sure what round they stopped it in, but when you got into the later rounds, man, Daniel Dubois' eye was looking crazy. So, it was almost one of those things like to live to see another day type deal. Like I'll come back stronger the next time, and I think he will. But Joe Joyce might come back strong, better and stronger next time as well too. So you always got to keep that in mind, man. Just because you think you're getting better, what is the other guy doing? So that Daniel Dubois fight was a good win. Um, it was a good win for Joe Joyce over Daniel Dubois. Dubois has since fought a couple times and won in a pretty good fashion, and I believe he's a WBA regular champion now. So Joe Joyce has already beaten and stopped the current WBA world champion right now. So that's a pretty good accolade right there to have. Not a lot of guys can say that they beat a WBA champion at the heavyweight division. Joe Joyce is still undefeated, which makes that fight even that much better. Um, but yeah, man, I really want to know. I really want to know what Joe Joyce plans on doing next. He just won his last fight too, um, where he looked pretty damn good. Um, I mean, the guy has been winning, man. The guy Joe Joyce has been winning, and I'm starting to really I'm really starting to pay attention to Joe Joyce a lot more now and take him a lot more seriously. At first, before the Dubois fight, I was really like, Joe Joyce is a fringe contender at best, knowing that he lost to Usyk and knowing how he lost to Usyk so dominantly. And so I was like, I just want to see what he does. And then, I heard the gloves were different and all that stuff. So I just want to see what he would do in the pro ranks. And so to see him in the pro ranks and to see him flourishing like he is now gives me enough confidence to say that, Joe Joyce possibly could win a title. Now, at first I wasn't really banking on that. I really wasn't putting a lot of stock in Joe Joyce. I was like, Joe Joyce is one of those type of guys that come around, but do they stay around? You know, I thought maybe that Dubois fight would have probably been one of the last times we really heard of Joe Joyce at that top level. But not only did he beat Dane Dubois, because I thought he was going to lose, he stopped him. And that opened my eyes to a lot. That opened my eyes to a lot. And, when he just fought Joseph Parker, so the Joseph Parker fight was another fight that I want to tell you guys how I feel. I was like, man, Joseph Parker is a good fighter. He's never been really stopped like that. And, he's never really even been knocked down that many times, and he's got a really, really good chin. And so I'm like, man, this guy's got a really good chin and he's a durable fighter. I feel like, all right, man, the hype train's up with this Joe Joyce kid. I think a good, healthy, strong, good camp, Joseph Parker, I feel like could have possibly beat Joe Joyce. But Joseph Parker came in that fight a shell of himself. And I'm not here to take anything away from Joe Joyce, but the shape that I seen Joseph Parker in was terrible compared to the shape that I seen him fighting like Andy Ruiz in. Obviously he's later in his career, but it's like, dude, you're a professional. I hold you to a higher standard than I do it sometimes. And you're a former world champion. More importantly, Joseph Parker, you're a former world champion from your country. And for you to get, but like to his credit, he was throwing the kitchen sink at Joe Joyce, and Joe Joyce was eating them motherfuckers. I was like, wow, man, this guy's eating all that Joseph Parker can throw at him, and he's still coming. How much this dude is really the juggernaut. He kept coming. Multiple times as you seen, Joe Joyce maybe get flustered and, he couldn't really catch Joseph Parker. When Joseph Parker was really catching Joe Joyce, it was like, wow, man, this guy is really doing a number, man. So, I think Joe Joyce should be up in line for a title shot really soon, if not now, if not his next fight. I think he's a fighter that you definitely need to keep your eye out on. And I think that, Joseph Parker can go far in the sport. Joe Joyce can go far in the sport if he puts his mind to it and he dedicates himself like I've seen him doing now. I've seen him dedicating himself. And that's what we got to see out of a guy like this. We got to see him dedicate himself to the sport to get these W's, And if Joe Joyce is off because he gets hit, so him getting hit scares me as well. It's like, well, if you get hit by Wilder like that, will you still be standing? If you get hit by like Tyson Fury like that, will you still be standing? And to be honest with you, I'm gonna go with hell no. He beat a guy in Joseph Parker that I really truly feel was Joseph Parker's worst performance, dare I say, ever. So not only was it his worst performance, he came in there, the performance and just the level of freaking the shape he should have been in it was lacking. So he got the Joseph Parker fight. beat a Joseph Parker, which some say that you know, Joseph Parker should be in the prime of his career, and I think he should, but it's like, he might need to switch trainers or something. It's not clicking, dude. The training, the build that I seen of his strength and conditioning was terrible, bro. Was terrible. I'm sorry, I gotta say it. Gotta call a spade a spade. And when I seen Joe Joyce eating everything that that Joseph, when I seen Joe Joyce eating everything that Joseph Parker could throw at him, I was like, damn, this dude Joseph Parker's gonna be in for a long night. I seen Joseph Parker hit Joe Joyce with a flush shot, and it literally looked like Joe Joyce walked through that motherfucker. I was like, what? I was like, ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way. And so, yeah, man. So, Joseph Parker got beat, got stopped by, and that's another thing. He stopped Joseph Parker and Daniel Dubois. Those are two big victories, man. Two good with victories, may I say, too. You know. So, yeah, man. I would love to know what you guys think about Joe Joyce. Contender. Like Ortiz being defend them. And fight for like Usyk could possibly be with Wilder. Wilder could be fighting, you know. Absolutely love it. But yeah, man, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Please smash that like button and subscribe. And until the next time, you guys. This is Corey Lee Boxing. Peace.